It's very hard to read the patterns. I do have to agree with one of my subscribers on here. Reading some of these loom patterns are very difficult. I'm a very visual learner, so that's why I decided to create some of these videos on how to do these unique stitches so we can all do them together. So I'm very thankful for those comments. Keep them coming. So let's start off doing the chevron stitch in close up. So what I've done is I've casted 25 stitches, and like in the previous video, I usually start in the middle. So from the left hand side of the loom, I'm going to count 13 pegs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this will be my middle peg. I take the loop from peg 14, I carry it over onto peg 13. I take the loop on the left hand side on peg 12, carry it over onto peg 13 like so. I go to the right hand side of my loops and I take the loop from peg 24, I place it onto peg 25 like so. This yarn wasn't the greatest to use, so I do apologize. Then I take the loop from peg 2 and I place it onto peg number 1 like that. And then what I do is I take the other pegs here and I start decreasing. So peg number 3 loop, place it on peg number 2, the loop from peg number 4, place it on peg 3, loop from peg number 5, place it on peg 4, and then I take the loop from peg number 11 and I carry it over to the empty peg number 12. So yarn is not the greatest, so I apologize. And then I take the yarn from peg 10, put it on peg 11, the loop on peg 9, put it on peg number 10, the loop from peg 8, put it on peg number 9, and the loop from peg 7, put it on peg, just like that. So I put peg number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, peg number 6 onto peg number 5. So I'm left with 2 pegs on the loom. Whatever you do to this side, you have to do to the other side. So I'm going to go to my middle peg, number 13. You have one empty here. I'm going to go to peg number 15. I'm going to carry it over to peg number 14. Like that. Peg number 13. Carry it over to peg number 14. Peg number 12, carry it over to peg number 13. Peg number 11, I'm going to carry it over to peg 12. Peg number 10, I'm going to carry it over to the empty peg number 11. And then I'm going to go down to the side here. And I'm going to take peg number 3, place it on peg number 2. Peg number 4, place it on peg number 3. Peg number 5, place it on peg number 4. Peg number 6, place it on peg number 5. And then peg number 7, place it on peg number 6. So now you're left with 2 empty pegs on the loom. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to fill these empty pegs. And this is called an increase. So we're going to angle our board this way. Okay, and see these loops that we've looped over to complete the stitch or the yarn over? We're going to grab the yarn over loop from the adjacent empty pegs and place them on top of the peg. So for example, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, peg number 6, we're going to take the little loop that's just hanging here in the middle. We're going to grab it with our hook like that. We're going to hook it on to peg number 7. So you create an increase of 1 loop or 1 stitch. We're going to go to the next empty peg on this side. It's peg number 8. We're going to take the adjacent peg number 9 that has a little loop hanging in the middle. We're going to take that with our hook and we're going to place it onto peg number 8 like so. And we created another stitch or increase. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Like I said, do it to one side, do it to the other side. So we have empty peg number 6 and 7. We're going to go to peg number 8. We're going to take the little loop that's just hanging here and place it on peg number 7. And then we're going to go to peg number 6 that's empty. Go to peg number 5, the little loop that's in the middle here. We're going to grab it with our hook and we're going to place it onto peg number 6. And that is called an increase. Okay, whatever you do to this side, you have to do to the other side of the board if you wish to do it on the other side as well. Don't have to. With the board like this, it's kind of neat. You can do the chevron stitch on one side and then a simple knitted rib stitch on the other side, or double stockinette stitch on the other side. Or you can do both designs on either side. It's totally up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the other side, and to complete the chevron stitch, you do the stockinette stitch again to complete the design. And again, you do the stockinette stitch like that. You have, after you do the stockinette stitch, you have the 2 loops on the board. Take the bottom loops, yarn over the top loop, and that locks in the stitch, the chevron stitch, the design. Do the same thing on either side. Flip my board and I do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and that's how you complete your chevron stitch. And then what you do is you do another stockinette stitch, and then you do your chevron design stitch, and then you do another stockinette stitch. So every other stitch you can also change colors. And what I do is I cast on the same way that I did in the beginning with the second color, cut my first color, tuck in the tail in between the stitches here, let it lie there, do your work. It gets hidden by the knitting. So tuck in all your tails when you're changing colors, when you're working on a knitting board.